Hello and welcome to another synth soundset walkthrough with me, The Unfinished. What are we looking at today? Well, for this particular walkthrough, we are looking at Zebra Apotheosis. Shut up, dog! Very loud dog in the garden. Not my garden, somebody else's. Where was I? Zebra Apotheosis 2. So I've done Zebra Apotheosis 1. Maybe you've watched that already and now you're here. Maybe you haven't. I don't know. This is for Zebra Apotheosis 2, which is 150 patches for Zebra 2 and another 150 patches for Zebra HZ. We're going to take a look first at Zebra 2 version, even though the Zebra HZ or DAC Zebra version of these sounds is the original. This is what, for about 99% of them, that's where it was originally designed. Now these sounds, here comes the talky bit, have been taken from vast swathes of synth programming sessions that I've done for various projects. I've been lucky enough to work on various films and TV programs and video games. I've worked for people like Hans Zimmer, Lorne Balfe, Ben Wolfish, Sasha Dikichan, Martin Phipps, Paul Haslinger, Stephen Barton, all sorts. Lovely people. And where these sounds have come from is basically their, I don't want to say rejects, but they're the sounds that didn't get sent during a project, or they did get sent but didn't get used because a project took a different direction, or a project just got shelved for some reason. And there's also some sounds that are from my own private projects, my personal music projects, be that a film score, a game score, or just some music I've been writing. So they are sounds that have been waiting to be unleashed, and I've galvanized them into sound sets for you to have in your sonic arsenal, and I hope you enjoy it. So Zebra Apotheosis 2, as we're doing now, is the first sort of incarnation of this project. So let's kick off with some bass lines, shall we? Yes, let's. And what a great example to start off with, because that sound really epitomizes a lot of what this sound set is about. So it's atmospheric, it's dark, it's cinematic. But what there is frequently in these sounds is movement. So evolution of the sound, evolution of the oscillators, the filter, the pitch, all that sort of thing. Mostly subtly, reasonably subtly, and sometimes a bit less subtly. But at its core, this sound set has sounds that move and that don't just sit still and do the bare minimum. So you're not going to get some basic stuff here. But at the same time, it's not in your face, it's not over the top, it's just sort of stuff that just adds that little bit of tension, that little bit of atmosphere. And it's very much a mixture of synthetic and analog. Which again you hear here. What these patches particularly epitomise is that element of the collaborative. Instead of me just sitting there programming sounds, I'm working with composers, they're working with their producers and directors, etc. And all that comes together to, hopefully, I like to think, bring something a bit new and a bit different. Nice bit of pitch shifting. But on top of that, with this project, instead of having these sounds just feeling like they've come fresh from whatever project I worked on, I've reworked and remixed them whilst listening to some different inspirations which include Tyler Bates's latest John Wick score and Brian Tyler's latest Fast and Furious score. I think both of them are probably the best in the series for both of those franchises. I've also enjoyed Lorne Balfe's Luther film score. That was really good. And my favourite band in the whole world, Hybrid, have this great score they've done for a film called Takedown, which I was listening to as well. So I've tried to imbue the sounds as I was reworking them with some fresher, different flavours, so that they have something new to them that isn't just from the programming project that I was working on at the time, basically. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Tank Thumper. Now, I can't condone thumping tanks. It will hurt. Don't do it. Not as many basses as some sound sets will have. The Apotheosis certainly has a focus on tempo synth sounds, such as bass lines, sequences, drum loops, that kind of thing, because that's what I quite often get asked to produce, as well as the soundscapes and the pad sounds. It's all very sort of ambience and movement and drive and that kind of thing. That's exactly what you'll get here. Couple of drums. Mostly they're the deep kind of impacty, kicky kind. And then we haven't got very many keys or leads, but hopefully it's quality over quantity, my friend. And this is about the point in the video where I start wondering whether I've already said something or whether I said it on the other video. So I might repeat myself. I might leave information out altogether. Who knows? Now, drum loops. Lots of drum loops in this sound set. Where I've sourced the sessions I've sourced most of these sounds from were very drum loop heavy, so that's why more have turned up. In fact, I've got so many that there's a possibility I might do an expansion for Apotheosis at some point that includes a load more drum loops, basically, that I programmed that I didn't fit into these two sound sets at this point. If that's something you're interested in, maybe comment below. Would you like the Apotheosis expansion at some point? Would you like lots more drum loops? Because I think Zebra's amazing at drums. It's so versatile. And whilst obviously the nature of a drum loop is that it's repetitive, I hope I've put in enough sort of programmed enough interest into these sounds. That, you know, you get that feeling of movement and change and difference, etc. As I look into my camera to speak to you, I can see the poor iris in the lens going, wow, 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 wow. As it's trying to cope with the changes in light outside. It's a very changey day. Good English, Matthew. We occasionally have a different time signature. So when I'm doing those sort of realistic hand drum kind of sounds, I try to program in a little bit of randomization, so it has that slightly more human feel. Nice and clacky. Clacky's a word, isn't it? Yeah, we'll have that. We can use clacky. Synthesized berimbau there. Classic pounding drums. Let's see what the module does here. Does it go close the filter or open it more? Oh, that's quite an interesting sweep there. Classic cinematic noise drums, really get the things going. So again, that synthetic organic feel coming out. Weird things going on there. Onto pads. Not as many pads as usual. You know, normally I fill a soundscape with lots of pads, but the vibe, the inspiration here has lent itself to fewer pads. That's got a nice, sweet, distorted edge to it. Slow and drifty. That's got all sorts of lovely things going on. I suspect that's one of those patches that's really taken on a life of its own when I've converted it into Zebra 2 from the original HZ patch. Nice sweeping edge to that. There's a little something not quite right about it that I rather like. Again, if you listen really carefully, some subtle stuff going on in there that you might miss first time around. Soundscapes, they're going to be dark and atmospheric. And with long release tails. And obviously these can be used in one of two ways, really, I feel. You can either have them kicking off a cue or a track to give that the sense of the atmosphere you want, or you can just stick them in the background somewhere, just to add that little hint of something as something element of that soundscape comes through. You get a different feel, and it just brings something that wasn't there before, and then disappears again and comes back round. That's how I like to use them anyway. Let's have a little look at the mod wheel here. That's quite subtle. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Not quite sure where that one keeps going, but I like it. Nice unpredictable quality to it. Again, this is one of these subtle ones that's got a few different things going on. Always evolving, always moving. And this is a nice example of, again, that synthetic and organic quality coming in, because you've got that central sort of wavetable vibe to it, but as well there's something sort of sympathetic resonance kind of harmonics going on. And a nice low one to finish. Okay, and then sound effects. Some oddball fun. And then we move on to sound. No. Sequences. Come on, Bowdler, wake up. This is what happens when I do two in a row. My brain slowly dies in the second one. So again, we've got the nice mixture of synthetic and organic. Let's see, this might be quite a good one to have a play with here. Cool. This one's nice and intense. Now, what the devil's going on here? Funny sounds that has a kind of modular synth quality to it. And A little bit of melodic stuff here. Up and up it goes. And starts again. I've been finding myself using the multi-stage envelopes a lot more recently, and I think that really comes out in this sound set. So we're on to some synthy stuff. Which often means something a little brassy or something a bit mental. Okay, so that's a quick flick through the Zebra H and O, the Zebra 2 version of it. Get a grip. See, I told you my brain was dying. I need lunch, that's the problem. It's nearly lunchtime, and my brain is going, feed me, feed me. So we will now move on to Zebra HZ version. Hello, here it is. And we'll kick off again in the bassline elements. So obviously, like I said before, this is where the patches were originally designed in Dark Zebra rather than Zebra 2. In most cases, maybe even all, I don't know. And they are more analog and a bit darker and a bit more distorted and stuff. Let's play along and find out exactly how true that is, shall we? A nice simple start for us. Again, really good mix of that organic and synthetic stuff. Nice bit of unpredictability. Almost as unpredictable as the way I just said unpredictability. Change that, that's annoying me. Again, synthetic, and you get that sort of percussiveness from the organic qualities. Almost certainly using comb filters. Let's see if that's true. Well, there's one and some FM in there. Setting myself up for a fall, as per usual. Perfect example of getting those elements in there that create something different. So we've got the basic, fairly comb filtery. Let's see if I'm right. So we've got that slightly twisty organic thing going on, and then the more synthy thing coming from the noise and FM. And then you put them together and you get the whole. And so there's a little bit going on here, a little bit going on there. And I'm explaining this really badly. Thanks. Gosh. In my defense, I've been out of my studio for a couple of weeks. It's been too hot. a mixture of it being too hot and the fact that I've injured my shoulder has made it very difficult to do anything in the studio. So I'm a bit unfamiliar with the sounds. And so we're going in cold, basically. Nice kind of distorted kick kind of bass. Cool. So lots of crunchiness and darkness and blending synthetic and organic stuff and playing with filters and pitches and all sorts of interesting things to make interesting stuff. Why do I only touch my nose when I'm talking to the camera? It's like, I'm obviously not touching my... Oh, I've hit the freaking mic now. It's going well. Thanks. Oh, my goodness. And my children woke me up at 5:30 this morning. No wonder I'm tired. Nice bit of beefy bass there. I like that one, that's very tasty. And then onto the drums. Nice bit of drama. Nice bit of deepness. Deepness is a word. It can be used alongside depth, honest governor. Keys. Well, hopefully you won't judge my sounds by the crap I'm talking. And then we're back onto our funky drum loops. Well, not funky drum loops, it sounds like I do 70s soul or something. That's not going to appear. Our nice drum loops. Our cinematic, very cinematic drum loops. Actually, if I do the extension that I mentioned before, I might just do it in Dark Zebra. That might be one of those things where I start monkeying around with how I've been doing things so far. Because they're all done in Dark Zebra. And I think all that needs to be done to them is the little final checking. And then the XY pads, which is usually a bit easier for loops because it's noise and comb filters mainly. There's not a lot of options on display. So quite often the drum stuff might only have 3 of the performance XY pads being used. Anyway, stop talking over the nice drum sounds because those were quite nice. And I will say it again, Zebra for drum loops. Amazing. I find myself reaching for Zebra and creating fresh drum loops, or just going back into my back catalogue of drum loops, much more often than using any kind of WAV loop these days. Here's one of those nice hand drum things where I've tried to program in some realism. Hope that comes across. And I think there's a real variety of tones in these drum loops as well, which justifies why there's quite so many of them. You can really sort of stack them up and get some really cool and interesting rhythms going on. Okay, into pads. No, played that one. That was played first time, wasn't it? So, yes. Sorry, I'm just trying to jump every third patch just to create some consistency. Otherwise, we'd have just been playing the HZ versions of the Zebra 2 pads you already heard. And I want you to hear more of the sounds. Slow opening filter, and that's what really makes that one work. Audio. That's nice. Nice big pad, that one. Lots of broken bits of it. Worth mentioning there's not really any difference between Volume 1 and Volume 2. I haven't tried to get any particular type of sound in either of them. I've just split up all the sounds on an almost, I think, just basically alternating them from one soundset to the next alphabetically. So there won't be a particular vibe to 1 and 2 that's different from the others. If you get 1, you haven't particularly missed out on anything specific. Yeah. It's quite fun. This sort of basic, simple, noisy kind of way. All right, soundscapes. Nice and evil one-key wonders. nice thing about these soundscapes is that you can play them not just as something that plays throughout the background as a kind of environment builder, but also you can play them almost like an SFX patch just to get a bit of a textural accent in there just briefly, and then, excuse me, just play it for a moment and then bring it out again just for those little moments. But obviously they are also really great scene setters, particularly when you start playing with the performance stuff, like bringing down the filter, then changing things tonally with the combs. And the sounds of fun. It's really filthy and grunty. All right. Get on with it. And then finally, well, for the soundscapes anyway. And soundscapes are another great example of how this Apotheosis straddles the line of synthetic and organic. All right, sound effects. What do we have here? That's rather nice. Okay, we'll move on to sequences. Nice bit of evolution via the multi-stage envelope here, so that we get a bit of a change towards the end of the rhythm. Ooh. A bit more randomized than I was expecting. I was waiting for it, it didn't come. Let's have a play this one. So if the mod wheel doesn't do what you want it to, like it closes the filter, that's when you come here to the XY pads and go, change the filter, we can tighten things up. And then warp, basically just fiddling with the sound. Percussive quality over there. Synthy over here. Interesting. What is this? Okay, so here focus on the fiddle at the moment. We've got LFO3 creating the sequence element. So if we slow it down, let's slow it down to 1/4. We can change the sound. It's less frenetic. And then if we slow that down to 1/1, and we get them all doing the same time, let's see what happens there. Like slow motion. Fun. Well, I thought I'd do that because I haven't actually had time to do a Let's Make a Noise video this time round, unfortunately, mainly due to busyness of various things and this hot studio and my shoulder injury. But I already had the idea of what I'm going to do, so I'm going to try and fit it in over the summer at some point, so we have a bit of a catch up with that. I'll let you know when it happens. Okay, and finally we move back onto synth stuff again. Well, some dodgy playing didn't help, but curious sound, huh? And there we go. That's volume 2. More of the same as volume 1. It's got the synthy, the organic, the analog, the dirty, the atmospheric. Hugely cinematic, but obviously I'm sure you'll find other ways to use it as well. And it's 150 patches. So the original 150 Dark Zebra patches, then reworked to make another 150 for Zebra 2. 300 in total if you get the Dark Edition. And then I'm also going to, for a limited period, bundle everything together as a Zebra Apotheosis 1 and 2 bundle, which will have all 600 patches in there. So the Zebra 2 versions are $24.99 plus VAT. The Dark Editions with both Zebra and Dark Zebra are $34.99 plus VAT. And then the big bundle is $54.99 plus VAT, which I'm sure you will agree is quite a good bargain compared to buying them individually. And if you're a newsletter subscriber, you get another 25% off as well. So, gosh, I'm so nice. So, hope you dig what you've heard and you're already ruminating and thinking of ideas you can use these sounds on. I think this is one of my best Zebra sound sets so far. I'm biased, so you'll have to buy it to find out whether I'm right or not. And if you disagree, keep it to yourself. I'm not interested, to be honest. No. So thanks again for watching. If you watched both videos, I enjoy your insanity. That's great. Give me a like. You can subscribe if you want to. I don't make enough videos to make that particularly worthwhile, I don't think. But yeah, likes are good, and friendly comments. If you would like to see that drum loop expansion for Apotheosis finished some point this year, let me know. But yeah, be kind. I'm only little. So thanks again, and I'm going to now make these videos into something vaguely watchable, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!